Both of these cities have ties to oyster culture, so that might be why I am obsessed with both of them. You're listening to the Coastal with Kelly podcast, your go-to podcast for waterfront travel destinations, coastal living, and ocean-friendly businesses. I'm your host, Kelly Dabrowski. Let's dive in. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Coastal with Kelly podcast. I'm very excited because today we're doing a little comparison between two of my favorite cities, Charleston, South Carolina, and where I live now, Old Town Alexandria. To get more detail on both of these cities, you'll want to go back and listen to the previous episodes where I talk about these, so I'll link those below for you. But essentially, we're just going to get in kind of this high-level overview of what makes them extremely similar. Obviously, one big difference is the climate. So Alexandria is located in Northern Virginia, where Charleston is located in South Carolina. So in Virginia, we don't have the beautiful flowing palm trees, but you will find that in Charleston. Starting off, so both of these cities are historic. They have a deeply rooted history to the water. Both are located on rivers. This is just a very quick reminder. This is an extremely high-level overview. I'm not a historian, so when I'm touching on the history, this is just like very bare bones, not getting into pre-colonial history, not getting into the rich Black history that we have in both of these cities. So if you're interested in that, we could always do a guest episode on the podcast. So let me know if you're interested in more of the history of either of these cities. Alexandria has history dating back to George Washington. So if you're big on American history, you might want to come here to visit and explore that. And Charleston also obviously has American history. They have more history with pirates. So if you're into pirate history, you might want to head there. Both of these cities also have ties to pineapples. When you visit Charleston, one of the iconic landmarks is the Pineapple Fountain, which is a symbol of hospitality. And part of that is because these fruits were rare at the time. And so they would come home from these long sea-based voyages, bringing home pineapples to demonstrate that, they made it back home, they're safe, they're healthy. So in Charleston, they were historically used to mark their safe return. So you would find these pineapples out front of someone's home, sometimes placed on the stoop. And that was also a sign to invite the neighbors over for a visit. Pineapples in Alexandria also indicate hospitality. In both cities, you will find pineapples in gift shops. You'll also see them on people's homes, just like a fence marker or something, or on someone's door. And then tied to the history, both of these cities have very unique sites. So in Charleston, you have places like Rainbow Row and the Pineapple Fountain, like I just mentioned, as well as Fort Sumter. And in Alexandria, we have fun buildings called spite houses. So spite houses were built within the alleyway in between two homes, thought to spite their neighbors. So we have a few of those in the city. And then we also have the Jones Point Lighthouse in Alexandria, which is the last standing riverine lighthouse in the Chesapeake Bay area. So it has a unique shape compared to sort of the more vertical structure that you think of when you picture a lighthouse. The riverine structures are more like a box, like a typical home style. So you can find that here in Alexandria. Both of these cities have ties to their rivers. So Charleston sits on the Ashley and Cooper River. That's exactly where those two rivers meet. And Alexandria is located on the Potomac River, which links to the Chesapeake Bay. Both of these cities have ties to oyster culture, so that might be why I am obsessed with both of them.
I always look and feel my best after I've spent about 3 days in the ocean, and when I can't make it there, I reach for OSEA. Their key ingredients are sourced from the ocean, so after using their luxurious products, you end up feeling like you just got back from a seaside spa. If you're also excited to support a women-founded ocean-positive brand, use code CWK10 to save at checkout.
And like I said before, there's also nautical history tying to both of these locations. So in both cities, you will find ties to ships, so you can learn more about that nautical history in either one. And now we're getting into kind of the things that led. So I guess the backstory is that when Ryan and I were moving back to the East Coast from Galveston, Charleston and Alexandria were both on our list for potential places to move to. Old Town Alexandria won out because of some of these factors. One of the biggest ones for us was walkability and transportation. Obviously, you have both of those in both cities, but Old Town Alexandria just is above and beyond what most cities in the US offer. So in Alexandria, we have metro system. The DC metro system does come out to Alexandria and even past it. We have bus systems. So the Dash bus system is what operates within Old Town and within Greater Alexandria. We also have 3 airports within an hour drive, but 2 of these you can get to by the metro, so you wouldn't even have to drive. And we also have an Amtrak station here in Alexandria, which is huge. Charleston has one major airport 20 minutes away. That's the Charleston Airport. And it also has the CARTA bus system. So you do have those options, but it's not as convenient as you have in Alexandria. And then when it comes to walkability, both Old Town Alexandria and Charleston have great walkability. I find that because Old Town Alexandria is smaller, so Charleston itself is a larger city, the sprawl is much bigger. So I find that getting around Old Town is a little bit easier, just because, again, Charleston just has more mass, more space that it's covering. So I find that it's just easier to get around, but both have excellent walking ability. But I will say that because they're both old historic cities, That means that some of their walkways are cobblestone, which can be tough to get around, especially if you are wearing heels or you're in a wheelchair. Walking around in heels usually isn't on my list when visiting a historic city, but with convertible heels, it changes the game. The heel block can unlock from the shoe, so you can turn these into flats to navigate the city safely. There's a flat cap you can put on, and then put the heel block back on when you get to your destination. Use code KELLYD to save 20% at passionfootwear.com. So that's just something to keep in mind when you go to visit, that some streets will be a little more challenging to navigate. When it comes to nightlife, so both are pretty similar. So in Alexandria, 11 p.m. is when quiet hours kick in, and in Charleston, it's 12 a.m. when quiet hours kick in. Both do have great food and bar scenes though, so you won't be disappointed whichever you choose to go to. I will say Charleston has more rooftop bars, but again, that's just because it is a more sprawling city. There's more space. Both of these cities aren't like how New York has these really incredible skyscrapers. Because they're historic cities, they both have these vertical limits on how high these buildings can be built. So again, Charleston does have more rooftop bars, but Alexandria's most recent opened in 2024, which is located at Hotel Heron, and the bar's name is Good Fortune, and they are reopening on April 11th, which is very exciting to kick off their, spring and summer season. For the population in both cities, you'll see that there are a lot of people that are in their like mid to late 20s and 30s and 40s. Obviously, both of them run the gamut. We have retirees in both of these cities as well, and they're just both popular destinations, to be honest. But my point is that if you are listening to this and you happen to be someone who's either recently out of college or, you're in your 30s and you're looking to pick a new city, both of these have young populations for you to be able to meet people that are in your age range. Another great thing is that both of these cities are very dog friendly. So if you are thinking about a move or you're thinking about visiting, but you want to bring your dog, don't worry, both will be happy to have them there. They both have phenomenal parks. I was blown away when we came to look at Alexandria for how many green spaces there are throughout the city. And I think of Alexandria honestly as like a dog's favorite city because the businesses in Old Town they always have treats, they always have water bowls out, so it is a very, very dog-friendly city. Like I said before, they both have great park access, so there would be plenty of green space for you to take a dog if you brought them on a trip. The only thing for me that's missing from Alexandria is the beach. So Charleston is closer to the Atlantic Ocean, so it's much easier for you to get to one of the neighboring beaches. So you can go to Folly Beach, Kiowa Island, any of those beautiful places. Whereas in Alexandria, we are closer to the Chesapeake Bay, so we can get there relatively quickly, but the Chesapeake Bay is not the Atlantic Ocean. And so that's the one thing for me that I wish we did have here in Alexandria. But honestly, both locations are absolutely stunning. Again, I recommend you go back and listen to those previous episodes. I know this one is really short, but I just kind of wanted to run down what we were looking for when we were looking to move. And what ultimately made our decision is how easy it is to get around, because at this stage in our life, we are traveling all the time for weddings, we're visiting family. This episode was about the actual cities themselves. But if you are someone who likes to be in proximity to a larger city, then Alexandria would probably be a better option for you because we are so close to DC. It's just a couple metro stops away. Whereas Charleston is the city. So what you see is what you're in. So it just depends on what you want, what kind of like level of metropolitan area you're looking for. But with that was just the kind of quick overview. I hope that you enjoyed this quick episode, and I can't wait to talk to you next Thursday.